What's up? What's up, Mrs. Powell?
What's up, Mr. Powell?
I'm good. Welcome.
We're in the fast lane.
Welcome. We're in the
Yes.
fast lane lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
You're fast?
No, you will be in the driver's
Are you
seat
fast,
and
eh?
I'll be in the passenger seat. So I don't really
So
know.
I'm the
if-
driver?
Yeah, always, like always.
Man, it's a tough one.
And
It's
I
a
have the
tough
hard
one.
job of trying not to fall asleep.
Always the driver. Always taking charge.
I don't think you would let me
Mm.
drive you. No, that's
No,
a hard
I
no.
I should always be the driver. I don't want nobody driving me anywhere, whenever, however.
Why?
I don't know. It's just I'm just used to being the driver, and the thing is, I'm very judgmental.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like the thing is, I know too much about driving. I think.
Yeah, and you intimidate
And
people
it's
though.
like,
And
yeah, it's like when you know so much and you know what to do, what not to do. It's like I know even you're supposed to sit in the car or you're supposed to hold the steering wheel, like a lot of different things. So it's like it just goes through my mind all the time.
starting off in the driver's seat.
Yeah, in the driver's seat. But what I wanted to discuss today is something that we've been talking about this since everything happened, and it's something that is very sad, something that is very disturbing. It happens everywhere, but in Jamaica, it's a very small country. So when something like this happens, it really goes back to I would say our culture.
Okay.
Our culture, and
So
what I'm talking about is, the stabbings and the violence in schools
right. 'Cause-
with kids, and all that, and knowing that we have kids, we have young kids, and for me I have 4, and then between us, it's
That's
2 kids,
right.
and to know that we are sending our kids
School.
to school.
Yeah.
And sorry, I remember at one point, I was like, "Yo, man, if I have the chance, I would take my kids to the States and send them to school." But for me, that's also very scary,
Right. That
because
also happens.
there's so many mass shootings
Right.
in schools and
Right.
all that stuff, But
But this specific incident was, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what could they have been arguing about. So before I even get there, just to fill everybody in, there was a fight that broke out at a high school. And in the video, it was all over TikTok, all these students have surrounded and made a circle around the 2 students that were in their fight or whatever was going. I don't know. At some point, one of the other students in the fight pulled out a knife and just, I guess, did she stab her multiple times?
Yeah.
Like her neck, her back.
So
at that point, was the one that got stabbed, was her back facing? Like,
no,
it just,
they were holding each other.
Oh, and she pulled out.
Yeah, so they were like holding on to each other. So she held on to her and stabbed. So, but my thing is, you had a chance to really think about this.
What you were going to do.
But as young kids, you really hold on to things
to
very
anger.
long.
No, but what could it, like, what seriousness could they have been arguing about at that age that you have to take someone's life, or you're willing? I know at that point, to me, it's not just one life that's gone, it's 2.
The thing is, in modern day, that's all people think about. Kids
you're
think
too
about
young.
it's in the music, it's everywhere. So kids listen to music. Music has a lot of influence on people. And I remember at one point they had banned a certain type of music from playing on the radio,
Right.
because of to see if it would stop this. At the end of the day, you cannot really blame the musicians. The parents are the ones who have to control
and oversee what their kids are listening to. Because I remember
exactly.
I wasn't allowed, like at a certain age. If I like remember when you had to go on LimeWire and all these things and download your music, I had to have an adult sit there and go through the music to make sure like it was appropriate for me to listen to, because remember, whatever you're listening to, you absorbing it. So you're there thinking, oh well, if he's saying, like, these are idols, you look up to them. If he's saying this, that means I should be able to do that. And subconsciously it's influencing. I mean, music influences a lot of us.
Yeah.
Our day to day. So I was not allowed to listen to certain things. Like if a certain rap music had like too much swear words or whatever, I couldn't download that. I had to find a clean version. It had to be approved before I could listen to that. So to me, I think, I'm not sure if what is happening a lot, like in today's world, when I listen to a lot of the music, it is very graphic though.
Yeah. Very, very, very graphic. And I mean, we've been listening to, music from back in the day and stuff. There were always violence in music, but I don't think it was this graphic and this violent, But definitely, like, I remember in my generation going to school, when something happened at school and if you have beef with somebody,
right?
All we used to talk about is punching in
right,
face.
where do we get to like knives now?
Like kicking somebody or something like that. But nowadays, kids will go home for guns.
So is knives. This like a top behavior? Like this is they've like for her to do. I don't know her family, or I don't know anything, but for you to get comfortable with thinking that's okay, is this something you've witnessed before? Thinking that's a good reaction to have?
I mean, that's a tough one. It's the first thing you will start thinking is what they learn at home.
Right.
That's the first thing that anyone would start thinking. These are things that kids learn from
some
home.
Kids are unassuming though. Some kids are unassuming.
You bust a girl face, I go stab a girl in her face, and
right.
all that stuff. You must be hearing this somewhere. Kids don't just get up and just do things like this. And it's very sad that, this little girl, both of them, have to go through this, the girl lose her life because of that. The other girl,
pretty much has lost her life too at this point.
Pretty much lost her life. And, you went home, you had a chance to think about all of this because things like this.
Were beefing for a while.
It has to be something ongoing for you to put a knife in your bag to take to school to arm somebody.
Like they knew this fight was going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. But all of this is just saying that we have kids,
right?
And it's very scary to send our kids to school.
School's supposed to be safe,
So definitely when you see people putting their kids in private schools, it's like they go all out to put their kids in private schools and uptown schools and all that stuff. I mean, it's to avoid things like these, these, because this do happen in schools.
It's sad,
and it's very sad.
I overheard over the weekend there was a man that was talking to you about, do you think, like, is it the music that's making people do these things? I remember I overheard the conversation, and I think it's like a mix of both.
Like I said, it's in the music, but you can't really blame.
For sure, because an artist is an artist. They have to be creative.
If that's the road they choose to, if that is, type of,
creativity,
a way of creativity or a way to deliver music, then, that's how they do it. But it's for you to, as a parent, to have some limits,
right?
To what your kids are exposed to, and I mean, nowadays, these modern day, woke, we call them woke.
Yeah, but I also feel like we all just came out of a pandemic. We were in this pandemic for what, 2-3, almost 3 years?
Better the pandemic continue, don't.
But no, I'm just saying, as in, I think everybody came out of the pandemic like different. Like you probably are not the same person you were before the pandemic happened. Like everyone came out with a different outlook. People were healing, people got more hurt. Like there was just different types of regrowth and rebirths that a lot of people were going through. Some people were not living in a good circumstance, so they were going through a lot. So I'm wondering if, obviously the pandemic definitely mentally affected a lot of us because there was
Mm-hmm.
some times where it was really tough. It was hard. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine maybe
I
all of
mean,
that plays a role because all of a sudden things just seem like,
I mean,
I think
things
so.
like these do happen. Everybody will have their own opinions. A lot of people will agree with us. A lot of people will disagree with what we're saying. But for me, yes, the pandemic happened and all that stuff. But these are kids. You know what I mean?
No,
These
I
are
know
kids.
that they're kids, but you don't know the circumstance that she was under during the pandemic. I know a lot of people are saying open up schools again because some of the kids are going through a lot at home.
I mean,
The
some of
conditions
these things,
and
some of these things, like I said, I don't really follow the stories and all that stuff.
right.
But it could just simply be a boyfriend situation, Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They're kids, The
Right.
kids fight over the weirdest things,
Pettiest
but
things.
it has to be a situation. It has to be coming from somewhere for a kid to get so violent.
Yeah, for
Like it
sure.
has to be something, like you said, something they've witnessed, something they've been hearing. I mean, yeah, people listen to music, and I mean the music very graphic. A friend of mine, hopefully we can have him on the show,
Yeah.
on our podcast. At some point, Agent Sasko, when he got his first child, and like I said, hope we can have him on to really explain to us. After he
In
had his first
details.
child, he changed his way how we deliver music
Right. And the way he wrote and the
drastically.
way he
The
was
way he wrote,
storytelling and
yeah. So like
yeah.
he cut out the
He cleaned
violence,
out a
cut out
lot. Right.
cleaned up his music because he didn't want to live that lifestyle. Because he just had a child, and
Yeah, he didn't want
he
his
want to
kids.
set,
His kids. I mean, now he has
be a
kids,
good
so
role
his
model.
kids growing up
Mhm.
listening to that stuff, and then no, I can
Yeah.
respect that.
That's why I tell her, say I don't want a girl,
You mean you don't want
no
another
more.
girl?
I don't want no more girl kids, because in this day and age, it's very difficult to grow a girl. I mean, any child, but especially a girl in this era where you have social media and everybody want to be naked, everybody want to push up them bottom.
Well,
Everybody
actually,
want the
I
booty,
think it
booty
just
tuck.
depends. It depends on your who's raising you. Depends on your upbringing. A lot of I'm going to say this. Some people probably not going to be happy hearing that. Some people had kids when they weren't ready for kids. So then when that happens, then you see it like as a child is developing, they're not getting the attention they're supposed to, or I'm then projecting my hurt onto that child. Like I think when you're ready, I mean, you're never ready for a kid because it's like a whole different ball game. But when you get to that point, like you're saying, growing a daughter, it's different, like depending on the standpoint where the person is and like the circumstance and everything, but depends on the person. But I think music, another way, like I don't remember specifically. I remember hearing like a rap music and they were talking about, I don't think it's BBL, but it was like BBW or BB something. Like that means you have to be curvy. Like the person only likes women that are curvy, big breasts, big booty. And then after that wave, it was like everywhere I turned.
And guess what? Kids are listening to this.
Right. And women as well, not just kids, adults are actually being influenced. Women have these bodies now. Like, I mean, to each is your own. I'm not judging anyone, but I think music definitely has an influence. Because when I look at music videos, what are you seeing now? When you look at the 90s, you were seeing more of like natural bodies and stuff. And to me, music definitely has an influence in our everyday lives. So I mean, I'm mentioning this because I seen a video on the Shade Room, and it was a little girl playing with her Barbie. And guess what she did to her Barbie? She built like a fake bum for her Barbie.
Wow.
That like people were laughing at that video, but I just took it into perspective of like that's
that wasn't funny.
that's sad to be thinking at that point. She's just telling herself that if I don't look, remember Barbie already, the body of Barbie is like already done up
made.
curvy and
It's already made.
it's already unrealistic.
Yeah.
But then to think you have to add more to Barbie and Barbie's supposed to be quote unquote perfect. That's just meaning it's like a conditioned thought now. Like we're conditioned to think we have to look this way. And as a little girl doing that, I'm like, wow, that's Again, to each is their own, but
mhm.
it's
But my thing is, we had spoken about this before. You know, the younger generation will always say the old generation. They think like old, back in the
old.
day
Oh, yeah,
stuff
we're
and
stuck.
old stuff. So like this that you're saying to me now will seem normal to them. Like a
Right.
lot
Or
of
they're gonna
things.
say I'm stuck or I'm hating, but I mean,
Exactly.
it's my opinion, it's my
Exactly.
perspective,
A lot of
and
things. A lot of things that we talk about and things that we don't like to see and all that stuff.
right.
People know nowadays think that's normal.
No, but
Like,
I then think it's gotten to the point where I will get comments or people will say to me that, oh, like you have no shape, or you don't even look good.
you're too
Or
skinny.
I've overheard a conversation where I'm walking with you and they're like, oh, she's pretty, but she has no shape.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we at that point now that we have to tear another woman down because
Big butt, big.
because you've gotten
Mm-hmm.
yours fixed up and stuff? It doesn't mean I don't want to do that, but I'm respecting that. But then it's like you're not respecting the fact that I want to embrace my naturalness. So it's all like that to me. I don't understand that at all, because it happens a lot. Like, oh, you have no shape. What do you mean I have no shape? Just I'm not meant to be curvy. Not all of us are meant to be curvy. And I love that about being a woman. We come in different shapes, forms, sizes, everything. I don't have a big booty, and that's okay. So I'm repping for the itty bitty.
I mean, your
team.
your husband is right here. Your husband right here is sitting down loving
right,
every bit
exactly.
of it,
I mean, I always say that. So,
yeah.
But I remember that being like a shock to me. Like when we first started dating, that was one of the many comments everybody would make, and there was like comparisons.
Everything that they consider as curve.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, she has no shape. And I would get lots of messages from young girls saying like, oh, I really appreciate the fact that you post bikini pictures and all these things, because, in the culture that they're in, if you're not curvy, it's like you're not saying nothing. Like you have, they'll be like, go eat, or
what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying is what they consider as curvy, we would consider unhealthy.
But I mean, like, and I don't even view it that way.
Then they would consider small person unhealthy.
Like you need to go and eat.
So so I mean, to each their own. If you like.
I just think let's just be able to get along and not, the comparisons but that would be in a perfect world. We're not in a perfect world.
To each their own. But
now men are getting 6-packs done and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get pecs. Real? Yes. What do you mean?
Never know that. I did not know that. 6-pack giving out like that free?
Yes. No, free. I'm telling you now, we're in really a fast-paced life. Like
6-pack.
Yeah, I've seen that. And I feel like you get like the pecs and stuff, everything. So it's not just like, so women alone. Men are also getting stuff done.
Man, all you lazy men who go out and do that stuff. You're lazy. You are lazy.
Jeez.
6-pack?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Man.
It's a thing.
My advice is, guys, just find somebody who can edit pictures and just edit some ab.
But even speaking of...
If it's for pictures, just...
No, but even speaking of edits, like there is some filters on... I'm sure lots of people get... You used to get catfished, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine today's world. Like the catfishing is so real.
So catfish thing ridiculous
it's
right now.
It's next level because you're seeing the person.
Yeah, people don't have to use like
another person. They can fix up themselves.
Yeah, wow.
Like when I put on some of the filters on my face, it's like, how can if I take this off, how can I then go and love what I'm staring at in the mirror? Like all of these, for sure, is like you constantly have to keep like reminding yourself and speaking and giving yourself grace and all these things. Because everyone's picture is like edited. Or like the, what's it called? The snapback. As soon as you have a baby, like 2 days later, everyone's just posting snapback. I did not have that snapback. I had to work.
What I did one time, I edited some tattoos on my arms.
Oh, God.
I put some tattoos on my arms. And I mean, when these apps just start coming out. You were using it for
fun.
Yeah, for fun. When these apps just start coming out, back in the day, not nowadays.
Your age is showing.
Yeah, age showing. But when these apps started coming out, it was just fun.
Right.
It was fun. Like, I remember even there was this thing where you could put like different color eyes.
Yeah, I remember
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And tattoos, like I said. But and these are fun, but people are actually doing it now for people to think that that's how they look until you watch their videos.
No, but actually now you can edit your videos
edit
as well.
videos.
Yeah, you can clean up whatever you need to.
Wow.
Like the apps are improving that you can.
Wow.
I remember, what was it? Yesterday you showed me a girl and you're like, oh, like, you know, she looks good. She popped up my thing. I think she's pretty. And I'm like, well, her pictures are hella edited. Like,
man, I'm glad I'm off the market. I'm so glad, man, because
it's rough in the streets.
Imagine me out here, you know, being the stud, you know, being the mandingo.
Oh,
you know?
God.
You know, and maybe flying a girl from somewhere or something, like and then
international mandingo.
flying a girl, and when she get to Jamaica, and look at the picture and look at the person. It's not the person.
But you've said that that's happened
do I get
to
a refund?
But you don't get a refund. You just have to, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to just leave her at the airport? You can't just leave her. What do you mean, of course? She's in Jamaica. You can't just...
So?
That's not nice.
Because the thing is...
You could just be like, okay, you know, I'm going to change your flight. You have to leave a little earlier.
Wait. The thing is, you know, if I book a flight,
right,
it has to be a return ticket. There has to be a return flight. So when she get here, whatever their return flight is, she go find a hotel or something.
So you're not gonna put her up?
No, because you're not the person who I was talking to.
That is mean.
Not the person I was talking to.
I mean, you have said that that's happened to you before and you drove away.
Of course.
So we can't hear that story. I want to hear that story.
No, I was it happened to me twice. In Facebook time. You know, I haven't used Facebook in years.
Actually, it serves you damn right. Serves you right.
Yo, I was talking to this.
You want to be a gallus?
Yo, this girl looked like a supermodel. I was like, yo, bingo.
Scoring.
Yeah. You know, and you know, I was like, yo, she was like, yeah, I'm in Jamaica. You know, I live in Jamaica. I was like, really? Whoa. I was like, yo, we should link up and thing. And when I went to meet up and she told me what she was wearing, I was like, I went with my friend, you know, and I was like, yo, look at this. Is this the same girl you're seeing right there? I was like, no, Safa. Man, I catch a U-turn so fast. And when I got home, delete, block. Was a catfish? Was the wrong person?
Serves you right, though.
The wrong person. Happened to me twice. And since then, never again. Other one, you know about the other one. The model, the international model.
Oh, someone pretending to be...
We have to call names. We have to be name calling right now.
You swore you're like, yeah, I'm in. I'm winning right now.
Yeah, man. Somebody was pretending to be that. Yo, people are the person had even her pictures of her kids or kid.
Her kid, yeah.
Her kid and stuff like that. So I was convinced.
That's scary.
I was convinced until the person put up a wrong picture on their WhatsApp.
Oh, the person was caught
slipping. Put up their actual picture on the WhatsApp.
So it probably was someone that didn't even know her, you know.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm more than sure.
Or maybe the person probably worked with her.
But remember, you used to get, like, people
person
used
was
to...
like, oh, I was in London at the Olympics watching you from the stands. I was like, really? And they sent me a picture of John sitting in the stands at the Olympic
Games. A huge, like, fan of hers that's just, like, watching her every move.
Possibly.
Because I know you said that happened to you, too. Like, a few times people are using your images to catfish other people.
But I mean, it's just crazy how, you know, people think, you know, and how people run their lives, and you know, you have people who just live just to be a scam, just to be a lie. You know, you have people who just... I
think that's all I think with an insecurity. Like, mentally, they're just not secure in who they are. Just mentally, they're just not in a good place. So they think it's easier to live like you because they're looking at you on Instagram and like, man, I want to be like him or her. She's living their best life. My perception.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, but for me, this whole conversation, you know, is just for parents to really just wise up.
Watch what your kids are doing.
Watch what their kids are doing.
Be attentive.
You know, train up a child in the way that he or she should grow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Preach.
And preach it. But yeah, definitely. You have to. And a lot of these people, they grow up with good home training.
Yeah. That was
You
some
know what
kids
I
are
mean?
unassuming.
Yeah, they grow up
Yeah.
with good home training, but yeah, some kids are too sheltered and they just start living wild after a while.
Right.
But don't let that reflect on your
Right. I guess you're
kids,
just saying, as a parent, just do the best you can do. That at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you can look back and say, I really have done the best I could have done as a parent.
Yeah,
right? Because I mean,
and-
we're all not perfect. We're all humans.
Yeah.
We're all still figuring it out as we're parents,
Yeah,
right?
and
So
you have some parents who they do a lot, but the kids still turn out a certain way.
But
but you still, I mean, at least you can say, I
right,
did
you've
my
given.
best.
Yeah, because kids at the end of the day will grow up to be their own person, right?
Mhm.
So I guess it's just like what you're saying. You can't have, I mean, expectations. You can have expectations, but still know that they will be who they want to be.
Yeah.
But
And man,
do your best.
we are young people as well.
Right.
Both of us, we are young people.
Both of us.
So
I mean, I know
don't
I'm
want
young.
I don't want nobody to think that we're thinking old fashioned and stuff like that. We are very much up to the time with everything. You know what I mean?
I operate with like balance and everything. A little bit of
we
this and
like
that.
we're accustomed to the old school, to our culture.
But I would say I'm
to-
modern day.
but also we're modern
Yeah.
as well. I mean, as much as like you have people in their 50s, 60s are very modern day.
Right.
So it's not old fashioned,
think
it's just
structure.
being wise, with your day to day. You have people who say YOLO, you only live once and all that stuff. But for me, it's no YOLO. I'm trying to live as long as I can.
Right.
So I'm not going to go crazy to think that, tomorrow I might not see tomorrow and all that stuff. Yeah, it's possible, but think ahead. You know what I mean? I'm thinking for the future. Thinking for the future, my
and
kids
thinking for
as well.
our
you know
future
what I mean?
generation. We
Yeah,
want better
exactly.
for them. I always, like when I look at kids, I want them to be a better version than me. Like in every child, it's like, I want you to be able to reach your fullest potential, and like the world is yours pretty
Yeah.
much. So
I mean,
don't make
and the thing is-
decisions that
The thing is,
stop that.
I'm no saint. You know what I mean? I was, I did stuff. I didn't do anything violent or anything. I had a lot of fun.
Broke some hearts.
I had a lot of fun, but for me, I don't think my parents are disappointed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm sure it's the same for you.
Mhm,
Your
mhm.
mom is not disappointed. My parents are not disappointed. They're not embarrassed of anything when it comes to me. So, I must have done something, to have achieved their trust and stuff like that. So, I mean, just nice. Why are you looking at me like that? Like why are you looking at me
I'm
like
just laughing when you say you're not a saint. So I'm like, yeah, most definitely you are not.
What? So you want me to lie? You want me to lie
There's
and say
gonna
I'm a
be
saint?
some girl listening on this and be like, yeah, most definitely. She's gonna be cussing and be like, yeah, he's not.
Exactly. So I didn't say I was. I say I'm
which
no saint.
we can appreciate the honesty, but
Exactly. I'm no saint.
right. But it's harder now in these days with parenthood. So we just do the best we can do.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
And-
tough, and it's very hard to really, look at your child go to school and then getting a call.
Mhm. Because there was
from the
another
school.
incident where there was a female in high school that was raped as well, remember?
Oh yeah.
And they found her unconscious and
Yeah.
stuff. And they was trying to find out how that
school,
happened. And
school just
it's-
as risky as the streets, man.
yeah.
Just as risky as the streets. A funny joke, when I went for Amik at school, Amik's teacher brought him out twice before. And when she brought him out, it was something Amik did. So today when I went for him at school, she brought him out. I was like, oh my God, once you're bringing Amik, there has to be something wrong. And she was like, no, nothing is not wrong. And then she gave me the bag and she ran away. I said, oh, I can't believe it. No, nothing is not wrong. So it's, it's funny how, the
Your mind,
works.
right, right. Yeah.
I thought something was wrong. So when I saw it, I was like, oh man.
What did he do now?
What did he do now? So, just to send your kids to school, it's very
it's
scary.
stressful. It's, yeah. For sure.
Very, very scary. So are they going to homeschool
Oh
when they
boy.
get to high
Maybe we
school?
can hire, because I know when I was doing what was it that they were doing? Pretty much like homeschooling when they were going through the pandemic, and just with
Mm-hmm.
helping your daughter Avani with her
Mm-hmm.
stuff. That was like, I was like, wow. I really, like, my brain really had to be working because a lot has
Mm-hmm.
changed.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
keep
yeah.
changing the
And
curriculum
come
and
on,
stuff.
you leave school long time ago. Don't act like you leave school two
I just
years
left
ago.
school 2
You
years
left
ago.
school a long time ago, so your brain right now empty.
So if I
Your brain don't remember nothing from
don't know
school.
the fact that you couldn't keep up, don't
Mhm.
don't do that. I could at least keep up to at least grade 5 or
All right.
6.
Well, changing the topic a little bit. You're going back to work.
Yeah.
Who is going to take care of the kids while they're going to work?
Well, there's a whole support system team.
It's a
There's
mosquito.
a yeah. It's out here to get us mosquito. But there's a whole support system. There's you, my mom, and then as well as we have Shannon that's here.
Mm-hmm.
3 times a week or 4 times a
Mm-hmm.
week. So I think you guys are in good hands. There is a schedule that
Wow.
I've put in place as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a lot of pressure, like being a mom, a wife, and then trying to balance career as well. Because then it's like things like these. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I have a way of how I like things being done. And I know the fact that I'm gone is going to just be like messed up.
And crazy, well, the crazy thing, I hear that now, but the crazy thing is, I help out a lot every single day, right through
For a
the day.
fact, yeah.
But I mean, when I really sit down and I think, okay, I'm always doing this, but then you are doing something else
Right.
with them. So when you're gone, I have to do this plus that.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot.
then I'm like, yo, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave them with their mom every day. But it's good that they're going back to work because that really takes a lot of stress off my head.
A lot of stress off your head.
A lot of
I
stress
mean, I
off
think,
my
yeah,
head.
I went through a phase where I went through a phase where I was unhappy because
Mhm.
there's a difference in like where we both are in our
Mhm.
careers. Like you are solid, you've established a lot. And then I just felt like I moved to New York. We got engaged, we got married, I got pregnant. And then there was a phase in New York in 2017. When I moved there was a lot of like high expectations. When I moved, I booked like a big campaign,
Mhm.
things were moving smoothly. And then there was a year where I had a hormonal imbalance and my face really, like, I wouldn't say really, really broke out, but I had like breakouts. And in modeling, that's really like when you have that, clients are going to be looking at you like, well, we can't, I mean, you would say, well, there's retouching. They retouch, your smooth skin anyways. But when you have that, it's like you kind of in a way get treated like a black sheep. So I remember things were at a standstill for a little bit. So that's when I had the time to kind of travel back and forth. They just told me, just take time off, figure that out. And I think when I finally got control of that, then, we got married, I got pregnant, pandemic happened, I got pregnant again when I was ready to get back to work. And then it was harder this time around, like losing the weight. So yeah, I think I did go through a phase of like figuring out like, who am I? Like what makes me happy? I know for a fact, like not knocking anyone down, my uttermost respect to stay-at-home moms, because pretty much that's what I've been the past 3 years, because it's a lot of work, emotionally, physically,
but for me,
mentally, spiritually. It's a lot, like balancing a household, where for me, I think from day one, I don't think I could be a stay-at-home
and
mom. I just need to be a working
that's what I
woman.
was gonna get to as well. In any relationship, I think a man should really understand his wife,
right,
or his woman, because I mean, it can be very dangerous if you don't take notice of certain things that a woman is going through. What she wants for herself,
right.
what she wants to accomplish. And I think I've done well enough to understand.
For sure. No, we give you props
How
there.
how
We
you
need a
think,
round of applause.
and stuff like that. And you're a go getter. You know what I mean? And for me, just hearing your story, it says a lot. you've been pretty much on your own since you're like 12 years old, and really trying to make your way through life.
Right.
So you haven't been searching for a man to start taking care of you and just to sit down and at home being a mom.
Right.
You have always been that person to
that's not me.
Work and do your stuff. Even when we're home, like you always want to do this, do that, use your, you want to contribute to this, contribute to that. Where I as the man, I want to be in control of certain things. But I also understand where you are coming from and your upbringing and whatever you have been through in life.
Right, because when you get with someone, you have to think you're trying to combine two different backgrounds together. So it's a way of finding that medium, how things work. And like, I don't even think just understanding your wife, understanding your husband too as well. And like how to communicate these things of frustration, because if you don't learn how to have that, then it can turn into resentment because, like you're a powerhouse,
I know I don't like to talk much, but whenever I talk.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And like you are, you're a household name and stuff. And like I had said the other time that I think that also pushes me more. And then sometimes it's like...
You come into my world.
Right. And then sometimes too, it can be a moment of where it's like, well, he has this figured out. He knows like what will work for him, what won't work for him, like in terms of branding and this and that, where I feel like I've just still haven't done that yet. Like, so who am I, or what am I, what am I doing now?
Yeah, your life is not over.
Right.
You still have a lot that you want to do for yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And for a lot of women out there, I don't think you should give up on your dreams.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? There are women who want to be lawyers, doctors.
Try and find a way to pursue it.
And a lot of men would say, no, don't do anything. Just sit down and do this. But just try to find a way to
pursue it and find that support system to pursue it, because you feel great at the end of the day and you can be the best version of yourself when you are pursuing a goal or something you're passionate about.
I think men respect women a lot more like that.
Right. I think...
you have people who stick to that because of culture.
Right.
But then, you have women who they have their goals and their dreams and they just sit down on it. They sit on it because they're afraid to say it to their to their person or to their whoever it is.
Yeah.
But don't sit on it. You will be happier. Yeah. And you will have a lot more respect. You'll have way more respect.
I get a lot of questions like, how are you going to be able to manage, traveling and then not being with your kids and your family? But it's not a thing where I'm going to be gone for like 5 months and not see them. I can go back and forth. And after I get back in the rhythm of work, how it works in modeling, I can be here and they can say, well, you have a job in London and you need to be gone for 2 days and you fly in, you work, you come back. So I can still be able to have the balance. I have a team now that is like, most models now are having babies and are getting married, where before, a few years ago, it was like, no, you can't do that, because if you're doing that, then you're done.
Like you say, you have your support system. If you're gone for 2-3 days or a week and you're like, oh man, I can't get to come home to see the kids.
Right.
I can fly up with the kids.
Right, for sure.
So it's like that. It has been that way since we've met. I know that you have to always be on the alert for a call for a job. And I have to always be on the alert, for a call for something as
for
well.
Sure.
So we have
our schedules is always like, so at any moment something
I understand your line of work. I understand you as a person as well. And you also understand me. And
right.
Sometimes I think you understand me more than myself. But I understand myself.
I also think I'm going through a phase of like, we've been married almost, we're 4 years in February. I'm still going through a phase of like, I think each time you're learning, like communication. Like today when we were taking my digitals for work, I was getting frustrated because I'm like, you're just not getting the right, angle that I want and how it's supposed to look is going to a client. And then I think where I'm at now is, instead of leaving you with thinking like I'm angry at you or it's something else, like, because I know my brain wanders a lot and you're like, well, it must be something else that triggered that or this. I'm learning to just tell you that, in a model's like career, it doesn't matter who you've worked for, digitals are the most stressful time because you're taking the digitals for people to really just look at your body.
and
you're in a bikini for
judge.
them. For them to say, I want to book her based off of this, or they're picking out, well, she doesn't have this or have that. So, and then you're getting like, you have to take measurements as well. So I guess it's that buildup of like, you want perfection.
Anxiety.
Right. So that all builds up. And I think I communicated like, it has nothing to do with you. It's just, it's always like a moment. So even when you go into the agency, you're like,
like I say, I learn to understand.
Yes, and I appreciate that.
That's why I was laughing at you this morning, but you didn't see. When you said something, I'm like, oh, she's in the zone now. And then I started laughing. Because I know when it comes to like work stuff like that, it's like you get in a zone where you just get serious and like you're very. I'm like, oh yeah, she's in the zone now. So I just block it out. Do whatever. When we're taking the pictures, I didn't feel upset. Didn't feel any way when you said, oh, you're not taking the right angles. You're making me look this way, that way. I'm like, okay, so just tell me you want me to shoot lower.
Right.
You want me to do whatever.
So teamwork makes the dream work. In marriage and in any relationship, for sure.
I think this drink is making me a bit slow now. So
on that note,
we can end.
On that note, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation, and there's a lot to pick and learn from it. I mean, like I said, I'm still learning as I go every day. So
I mean, yeah, because we've touched a bit on train up your child in the way that he or she should grow. We touch a bit on
being a supportive partner as well.
And back to work and stuff like that. But like I say, everybody will have their own opinion. Everybody, that's why you have conversations. People will disagree. People will agree with what you're saying. Some people will just don't like anything that you say.
But again, to each is your own.
To each your own.
What works for us won't work for everybody. But I always say love and love always. No matter what, you can listen and pick and learn from anything. Even if I don't like a certain conversation, there's always something I can learn from it. I'm always open-minded that way.
So
open-mindedness.
I've done
it's today's conversation. Open-mindedness.
Open-mindedness.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, guys, end it off on a good note.
Yeah.
I love you, baby.
I love you too.